Is it red right there? Okay, good. We're on. All right, we're live. Okay. Oh, you got something else to tell me?
That was actually the paper that I did.
Oh, perfect. Okay, good. Then you won't have to email it to me. That works out good. Okay. Good. All right. So we're going to go ahead and talk about MLA formatting, and then we'll deal with quiz 2 at the end of class. So there's a couple of important things that are going to be on the grade link page. This is one of them. This is proofreading editing marks. You might want to print yourself a copy and have this for peer editing next week. Okay? So if you haven't seen this on the teacher grade link page, they're common little symbols. And that way, if y'all are all using the same symbols or the same little notes, it'll help you as you're peer editing. Okay? We're talking about MLA formatting. And if you're wondering what in the world is MLA formatting, it's the way that you are going to format all of your papers from now on. All the way up through all of the college classes that we offer here as well. And we talked a little bit about it last year, but this is the year. So we're going to start with a movie, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit more. It's a few minutes. It's not that long.
MLA stands for Modern Language Association, and MLA format refers to the format the association created that is commonly used in many areas of academic writing, particularly in the humanities. In this video, we'll go over the defining aspects of MLA formatting and citation style, though it's important to note that updates are made to the style from time to time, so you should consult an updated style guide to make sure you're up to date before you begin your paper. First, let's start with formatting. Bear with me here if any of this seems like review. It's all in the name of being thorough and accurate. Remember that you should always consult your paper's prompt to see if your instructor requires any deviations from the traditional MLA formatting. Since she's the one giving you the grade, it's important to follow her instructions above any others when it comes to your paper. A properly formatted MLA style paper will be constructed as follows. Typed on 8.5 by 11 inch paper with 12-point font, 1 inch margin on all sides. The first line of each paragraph should be indented 1/2 inch from the left margin. Pro tip, use the tab key instead of the space bar to ensure a perfect indentation. The body text of the paper should be double spaced, and there should only be one space after periods or other punctuation marks. Number all of your pages in the upper right-hand corner. Your page number should be 1/2 inch from the top of the paper and in line with your right margin. There's some specific formatting requirements with regards to the first page of your paper that I want to cover before we move on to the rules of MLA citation. Typically, in MLA formatting, there is no title page, though of course, if your instructor requests one, please be sure to follow her instructions. Let's take a look at this sample. You'll notice in the upper left-hand corner of the page, I've listed my full name, the name of my instructor, I like to pretend I'm a student at Hogwarts whenever I can, my course name and number, and the date. Like the rest of your paper, this should be double-spaced. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll notice my last name and the page number. Sometimes your instructor may not want a page number on the first page, but instead will want you to start numbering on page 2. Sometimes she may want you to omit your last name in the page number. If you're unsure, you should ask. The title of your page should be centered and not use any special formatting, no italics, bolds, all caps, etc. MLA is typically light on that kind of formatting unless you're referring to a specific publication, in which case you should italicize the publication name. I know it's fun to use italics and all caps for emphasis in email or text, but it's not standard practice in MLA. Depending on the level of detail your instructor requires you to adhere to MLA formatting, you may need to consult a style guide for information on things like section headings or abbreviations or formatting quotations. There are great style guides available for free online, but you'll want to make sure they're from a reliable source like a university and using the most updated version of the guide. The next defining characteristic of MLA style we're going to cover is in-text citations. In-text citations are important for ensuring that you properly credit your sources. Your instructor needs to be able to identify which parts of your paper are your own versus the work of others. Giving credit to your sources and not implying that someone else's words or ideas are yours is hugely important in academic writing. The pieces of information you'll need to know when creating an in-text citation for your paper are the name of the author or authors of the work you're citing, and the page number on which the information you're using can be found. This allows your instructor or any reader to find the source you used on your works cited page, which we'll get to in a moment, and look it up for himself, either to verify that your information is correct or to get more information on the topic you've addressed in your paper. Pro tip: keeping track of the pages where you found pieces of information you'll know you'll want to use in your paper while still in the research phase will save you time while you're citing, because you won't have to flip through all of your sources to find the right page numbers for the information at the end of your process, which I can tell you from experience is frustrating. Okay, here are a couple of different ways that MLA in-text citations can look depending on how you introduce your source. If you're mentioning the author, your parenthetical citation needs only to include the page number. For example, according to Red, Harry Potter is a far more compelling character than Bella Swan. In this case, I've mentioned the author's name, so I only need to include the page number in the parenthetical reference. If you're not mentioning the author, you'll want to include both the author's last name and the page on which the information you're using was found. Harry Potter is considered by certain scholars to be a far more compelling character than Bella Swan. This time I didn't reference the author's name, so I include it in my parenthetical reference along with the page number. Of course, sometimes you'll be using a source with multiple authors, some will have no known author, and some will be a website. We're not going to cover every possible citation option here, but luckily MLA style guides do. Make sure to consult one if you're not sure how to properly format a citation. Alright, moving on to the works cited page. So let's say someone discovers something in your paper, finds it riveting, and wants to consult the source you used to learn more. This person used your in-text citation to learn the source author's name, and the page on which the information you used can be found, but that's not very useful if he doesn't know the name of the publication, is it? This is where your works cited page comes in. A works cited page contains detailed information about all the sources you used to write your paper. An MLA works cited page must be carefully formatted to match MLA standards. I imagine that at this point you don't find that surprising. So let's talk about what you need. Let's take a look at the sample. Your works cited page should be a separate page at the very end of your paper, have the same 1-inch margins, double spacing, and page number format as the rest of your paper, list your citations in alphabetical order, be titled just Works Cited, with the title centered, and again, the title shouldn't be bolded, italicized, or anything else of that nature. Your works cited page should have 1/2 inch indentations for the second and third, fourth, etc. as appropriate lines of each citation. It should also include the medium of the publication for each entry. This means print, web, film, etc. If you've used MLA citations in the past and don't remember this rule, it's because it's new as of 2009. Updates like this one are why it's important to consult a recent style guide before you begin citing. Even if you think you know MLA formatting, it's possible something has changed since your last paper. Different sources are formatted in different ways, though for the majority of sources you'll begin with the author's full name, with the last name appearing first. We have other videos that cover how to cite different types of sources, and of course, you can always consult an MLA style guide for more information. Are you sick of hearing me say that yet? Sorry. If your instructor requires that you use MLA or Modern Language Association formatting for your paper, you'll want to pay close attention to how your paper is structured in relation to margins, font size, and other specifications. You'll also need to include in-text citations to properly credit all of your sources, and be sure to create a works cited page that contains all of the sources you use to write your paper. The MLA style guide is updated regularly, so be sure to check a guide before you begin your paper to see if any recent changes have been made.
Okay, so next week, MLA formatting for all of your paragraphs that you're turning in. The paragraphs, eventually we're going to be writing papers. So it won't be a expository paragraph, it'll be an expository paper. But we're not worried about that right now, we're just focused on paragraphs. On the teacher grade link class page, I put an expository topics PDF, and that's what you're going to choose your topic for next week. So you have to choose from that list.
For the paragraphs that we're peer reviewing or for the one due next week?
For the expository paragraph that you're writing, it has to be from that topic list. You also have to cite one source in the paragraph next week. So that means you're also going to have a works cited page, right? So you're going to have to follow that formatting. So make sure, so MLA formatting is just a style of how you consistently present your paragraphs or your papers to your teachers and future professors. And the reason we teach MLA formatting is because most colleges require it. So you're learning now what you're going to need all the way through school. And so when you move to the English 113 and the English 123 and the American Literature class, all the other classes, it's consistently done. So you want to follow that MLA formatting. So you're going to type it on an 8.5 by 11 paper, 12-point font. We typically use Times New Roman. 1-inch margin on all sides. The first line of each paragraph is indented 1/2 inch from the left margin. Body text of the paper should be double spaced. Only one space after periods or other punctuation marks. Number all your pages in the upper right corner. You're going to have your page number 1/2 inch from the top of the paper and in line with your right margin. You're going to put your last name like they suggested. That way if I fall down the stairs and drop everybody's papers, I know whose paragraphs go with these works cited pages. And we're going to play a little game right now. I've got some sample essays that people wrote. It's just like one page of their essay and it's their first page or it's paragraphs. And well, actually there's one on each side it looks like. And their formatting is just a mess. And I'm hoping that some of you brought red pens or markers with you like I asked.
I brought 4 pens.
Okay. And you're going to work with your partner at the table. And y'all are going, you may have to like hold it up and one person read one side and one person read the other. But you're going to try to figure out what's wrong with the headings. You're not editing the whole essay. You're just figuring out what did they do wrong with their heading. Okay? Are these people?
Are they all the same or are they all different?
These are not people that went to the school.
Are they all the same or are they all different?
They're all different. So there's one on each side. So y'all try to fix what the person did. And they're obvious errors. They're obvious errors.
Should I share it with okay, I was confused. Alright.
Yes.
This is obvious.
So if you paid attention at the video, you'll know exactly how to fix it.
Side. Side.
Is it, we fix their outline format?
That's the wrong
You can mark on these, yeah. Go ahead
This has to be in the center.
fix it or mark what's wrong.
Center and then that's right typing.
You're just
that-
fixing their
look
formatting,
double
not editing their paper.
Maybe. But I know this heading's wrong. Wrong heading. Page. Number. Here. And then last page. What else? Oh yeah, I forgot teacher name. This part of the I think you do have to write out the date. Right. Date. And then I don't see anything else to.
Is the back a whole other essay?
The back is a whole other, it should be one on one side, one on the other. You're just checking the
This is
formatting.
missing name.
Yeah. So just fix the person's formatting based on what I just told you and what you watched in the video. I'm trying to help you learn the formatting.
Oh wait, this is sample essay. It's from the title for the printout. Okay, so I'm just gonna cross it out either way because it's supposed to be there. Alright, spacing on this is wrong. See? I'm spelling everything wrong, but I don't care. Alright, this isn't supposed to be bold, I don't think. No. Formatting. No, formatting?
All right, take just a couple of seconds to do that, and then we
I
know.
think it doesn't matter for bold, for the numbering. I don't know. Oh, true. No bold.
Okay, everybody have a chance? All right, so Olivia Kennedy, tell us a couple of the errors that the person did.
They didn't double space the paragraph.
Okay.
They put their full name for like the page number. They mixed up the spaces for the class and the teachers.
Okay, good catch, good catch. Lots of times people mix up the four layers, they mix up the order wrong. So Kara and Hannah, what did you find?
They have no page number or last name at the top. Their like name, their date, and like their class is not double spaced.
Okay,
It's
spacing errors.
it's the title in the middle of the paper, and it's not Times New Roman font.
Okay, all right, good, good. Eliza and Abby, what did you find?
They're missing the date and the name of their class. There's something in bold that shouldn't be. They're missing their last name and their page number. The spacing's too high on their title and no double spaces in that paragraph. And then this is spaced too far. Two things are in bold that shouldn't be. They're missing their professor's name. The date is mixed up wrong. It's missing a page number. No indent and no double.
Wow, you caught a lot of mistakes. Okay, great.
Ours, we had, no, a lot of ours was no bold, it was a lot of bold, the Times New Romans for the title and the numbering. There was also, for this one, it missed the name in the top part, and on the back, it was on the wrong side, and it was missing the teacher's name, and the date was, we thought in the date they should write out the month name, and then the date. And then the page number was missing, and the title was too far over, and you gotta move it to the side. And the quotations weren't supposed to be there.
Good, good. Gentlemen, did you have anything that maybe the girls didn't mention?
We pretty much had the same stuff.
The same stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
The title wasn't double spaced above the paragraph.
Oh, good catch. Good catch, guys.
And then
Yeah.
I think the page number was also supposed to be higher. I don't know if that was.
Right, right. Always make sure your last name and the page number in the top corner there. And it said if your teacher has any special I want you to follow exactly what MLA formatting is. So you follow exactly the rules. So if you're not sure, you can look them up. You don't have to call me professor. You can say Mrs. Fox, that's fine. So you don't have to put Professor Fox. That won't get you any extra points. Okay. So, any questions about MLA formatting? Your assignments have to start next week in that formatting. So, if you've already done the assignment and had it peer edited for this week, the assignment due next week, then when you go back and do your editing, you've got to fix the MLA formatting as well. Okay, let me.
Mine have always been MLA, so okay.